Hello there. Today I'm taking a look at a sweet red wine from Greece. This is Mavrodaphne of Patras. It's a reserve version of that. It's in a litre bottle. It's from a producer called Cavino, and it's not vintaged, so I'm assuming it's a blend of vintages. The company Cavino was founded as recently as 1958 by two gentlemen, Konstantinos Anastasiou and Ionnas Douskas, and they are not only in the wine business, they're also distillers, so actually they make quite a lot of ouzo as well. Mavrodaphne of Patras is a traditional style of Greek wine, but it's a tradition that only dates back to the mid-19th century, where the method of production was brought back to Greece by a Greek winemaker who'd been to the Douro Valley in Portugal and seen how they made the wines there. And so he started using the native variety Mavrodaphne to echo the wines he'd seen in Portugal. The region is a region at altitude in the hills and mountains that run along the north part of the Peloponnese, looking out towards the Gulf of Corinth. The wines have to be a blend of both Mavrodaphne, and you're allowed to use up to 50% of another grape variety called Corinthiakos. This is 70% Mavrodaphne and 30% Corinthiakos, although use of Corinthiakos is, I'm told, being reduced, as it tends to dilute the intensity of the Mavrodaphne. And Mavrodaphne can be a very deeply coloured, intense wine. The winemaking you have here is relatively straightforward. Everything is hand-picked. You have to. They're on quite steep slopes, sort of between 300 and 500 metres above sea level, and this is all helping to moderate the quite warm Mediterranean climate. So you have the influence of the altitude and the proximity to the sea, allowing the grapes to ripen but yet retain their acidity. So anyway, hand-picked grapes taken to the winery, fermented in tank. That tank fermentation lasts about 4 days, and at that stage there's an addition of spirit which stops the fermentation by killing the yeast, leaves the wine at 15%, allowing it to stay sweet without the yeasts restarting fermentation. The wine ages in oak barrels for a period of 6 to 7 years, at which stage a selection is made, and this claims to be one of 25 selected barrels that made 100,000 bottles. This is a half-litre bottle, as I said, of this wine. Once it was bottled, the wine was put back in the cellars for 4 more years, just to let it settle and for its elements to marry, and then released. So let's have a look at the style of the wine, shall we? So first of all, the colour. It's slightly red, but in general, that's a wine that has a tawny rim and an almost sort of mahogany brown core. So yes, just the slightest note of red in that colour. Swilling it, it has 15% alcohol and it has reasonable levels of sugar. I don't actually know how much the residual sugar is here, but reasonable amount, and that's quite readily forming tears or legs that are running down the glass. Swilling it, you've got a very complex set of aromas. The initial aromas are of sultana, raisin, currant, dried fig. It's that sort of dry, very much dried fruits, I think. But there are also rancio notes of almost a sort of slight hint of bacon rind, but also of caramelised sugar, note of dried lemon peel, those sort of lemon rind sort of notes, and top notes of spices, clove, ginger, that sort of those sort of touches. So that's for taste. It's sweet, but it's a mid-weight. It's not a huge mouth-filling wine. It's got only 15%, so it's not the 20% of a port. And it's a wine that you feel has lost some structure aging in oak barrels. It's allowed it to soften and smooth, very smooth texture. But a slight amount of tannin perhaps there, almost a sort of a charcoaly note on the background. You've got all that sort of lovely figgy, sultanery sort of fruit, touches of honey perhaps, and there are those sort of slightly rancio notes also coming through from at the back palate as the wine, I suppose as the wine is finishing evaporating on my tongue, it's starting to reveal those more sort of lifted notes. The alcohol at 15% is giving warmth, richness and roundness to the finish, but it's not completely smothering the fruit there. It's just allowing those slightly rancio, dried lemon peel, dried orange peel, those sort of notes to come through at that stage. The sweetness, it's sweet, but it's not stickily sweet. Yeah, that's a wine with some great complexity that gives you plenty to think about. It's a wine of contemplation, and you could serve that with sort of nuts, various other tapas, dried fruit, certain cheeses, goat's cheeses, blue cheeses, those sort of styles of things. Sort of thing you might drink a tawny port with, and this is very much in that sort of style. So, thank you very much for watching. Do please leave any comments. Do like and share. Do follow us on YouTube, and most importantly, do come and join us again, won't you? Bye now.